What's happening? Good morning. Good morning, everybody. It is Tuesday, September 2nd, 2020. This morning, we're going to talk about how things have changed, the evolution of school, your children, finding out what works for your family. A lot to talk about this morning. Let's get started.
It is ultimately important for you to look at your goals, truly what you want to do in your life. And then look at the people who you spend the most time with in your life and figure out if that lines up.
All right. What's happening, guys? Good morning to you. Happy Wednesday. Lot to talk about this morning. This is another edition of the Family Perspective. I wanted to touch on this morning because I feel like, this is a pretty consistent conversation that I've been having with people, just about the changes that everybody is kind of going through, with schools and children and, all these decisions that people have to make. And, I want people to understand, not even if you don't have a family, just the process of making decisions like this and kind of, what it means, to think through these things and what happens when you make the right decisions or the right decisions for you. So wanted to dig into that this morning. So I want to say good morning to some folks. What's happening in Dayton? Carla, Jeff Johnson, my man. I think I owe you a text back. I got a text from I believe I got a text from you yesterday morning. Yesterday was crazy. So I will get back to you today, man. Jared Bird, good morning to you. My wife is on here. She would have a lot of value to add to this conversation, but she's still afraid to get on the camera. So we're going to change that though. And Christina Berry, good morning to you. And Linda Ann Barber, good morning. You are up early there in Mountain Time. So, but yeah, I wanted to talk about this. So, 2020 has changed quite a bit in the world of, schooling and our children and, balancing all that with a schedule, for those people who are working and, used to going to work every day. Hopefully, if your children are home, you also might be working from home, but there's a lot of things that are changing. And it puts those decisions in front of us that are very difficult to make because there's nothing more important than the decisions that are attached to our children, right? And so, for our family, for example, we've got our 8-year-old who's, been in school for a few years. And then we have Kingston, our 5-year-old, who would be going to kindergarten this year. And so, all the things that are going on with, everything in the world right now and, remote learning or wearing masks to school or, just that complete alteration of what things are normally like compared to what they're like now, it presents a decision for us, right? Because depending on how your school district is or how your school is handling things, you're presented with a decision. And, what I would tell you is that, as a family, you have to come up with the decision that really works best for you, that you feel like is best in your heart for your own situation. And that's a difficult thing because, what I've learned through, this year is that, so many people are used to just following a path. I think we all are, right? In some regard, we're used to doing certain things a certain way. We're told to do this, so we just go do it. We were taught to do things a certain way as children. And so that's the path that we follow. And I wanted to have the conversation this morning because, I would just challenge you guys to, be independent thinkers, think about how you can do things, not how it's supposed to be or not how it's always been, but how you can do things to better benefit your family, to help your children advance faster, to, whatever that looks like for you. If that's remote learning through your school district, or maybe it's homeschooling. In our case, that's the decision that we decided on for our family, for our kids, was to do homeschooling this year with an online guided program of doing that. But, making those decisions is really important. And I think that it's really important for us as parents, as individuals that are leading our children. I think it's really important for us to look at every option and to really, evaluate everything and not worry so much about what everyone else is going to have to say about your decision. For us, that's been a decision that's been, looked at, questioned by people, whatever the case is. But it's because it's different, right? It's because it's something out of the ordinary. And it's not, by the way, out of the ordinary for a lot of friends that I have. There's a lot of people, when we started to explore the option of homeschooling, I started to reach out to friends, and I was shocked by how many people had already been homeschooling their kids and by how many resources were available to us to tap into to be able to do that. And so I would ask you, to look at those areas of your life, to look at the things that are going on right now, and to evaluate, what is best, because, the path that everyone takes is not necessarily, always going to be the right fit for you. And that's okay. It is okay for you to stand out. It is okay for you to do things that, other people may think don't make sense. And by the way, it's okay for you to even make a decision that may or may not work out. That is how we get educated in this world. And so, leaning into those tough decisions and really evaluating it and having the courage to do something that you feel is right in your heart is really what living, in my opinion, is all about. And so, for us, I could take you through, the concept of why we decided to go the route that we did. And it was, our 5-year-old would be going to school for the first time, and we weren't sure about how, that interaction would be. And by the way, because we decided to do homeschooling, I am a huge supporter of teachers. I have a lot of friends that are principals or teachers, or, and I have all the respect in the world for what they do. I didn't feel that it was a good fit for my child. So because I made that decision, or my wife and I made that decision, it doesn't mean that we don't support the public education system or teachers. That's just not true. And so that's something in our society today, the pressures that will be put on you when you make decisions that are outside of the norm, is that, there are massive conclusions that are jumped to as a result of sometimes the decisions that you make. Those are also things that will pressure you to maybe go a different direction instead of doing exactly what you feel is right in your heart. And so I really wanted to talk about that this morning. And, as we go through these episodes of family focused discussions, it's really important for you to take the time to really figure this stuff out. For me, that time is generally in the morning. So it's, bright and early. I don't have anybody, tugging at me, no kids crawling on me, no business people calling me. So if I'm up at 5:30 in the morning, I'm usually able to do some thinking there. And so it's really important. And I talk about this on a business aspect, a personal aspect, but even equally as important, if not more, the family aspect is like, can you really get a clear head? Can you really think? And so that 30 minutes that you take of quiet time, maybe it's on a walk, maybe it's, just sitting, and some people meditate. I don't do that. I'm not very good at sitting still. I'd like to be able to practice that someday, but it's something that we all need to do because it clears out, all of the chaos that's going on upstairs up here. And it allows us to really think. And so if you can get 30 minutes of quiet time every day, and you can dedicate some of that time to thinking about the path that you want to be on in your family, in your business, in your personal life, really sorting those things out and living with intention. Don't just follow the path that everybody else is following because it may be unpopular to do something else. And you may be, painted in some certain way as a result of that. Don't do that. Don't fall to that pressure. Be willing to stand up for what you believe. Be willing to, speak your opinion, and be willing to have the tough conversations. If there's one thing that I've learned in my life is that conflict is the best, and success is not a great teacher. Conflict and failure and challenging things and doing the things that are a little bit more difficult at times, that is genuinely what is going to make the biggest difference in your life. So as we enter this school year, and everything's going to be a little bit different for you, make sure that you're focused on creating a rhythm for yourself, for your family, for everybody around you, right? You create that rhythm, you create an environment of success, of a launching pad for yourself, for your family, for your children, where they feel confident. One of the greatest feelings in the world is watching your children develop self-confidence. For me, when my children know that they are good at something, it is the greatest gift. And then learning and teaching them how to harness the balance between confidence and being humble. So as you go into this school year, make sure that you have that focus on exactly what's right. And if you're in a situation that doesn't feel right for you, don't be afraid to change it, because you'll never, ever look back on your life and regret the things that you did try. You will always look back and regret the things that you didn't, if things don't work out at the highest level for you that they could. And so, number one, being a parent it's a challenging job, right? Sometimes you always feel like you could be doing something better. And so I would encourage all of you out there as parents to give yourself some credit for the things that you are doing right. It's a difficult job. You're always going to feel like there's a higher gear, there's something more that we could be doing to make the lives of those children that we have much, much better. And that should be something that drives you, not something that bothers you, right? It should be the motivation that you find within yourself to do better and to be better, and to always be looking for growth for yourself. And through yourself, you can create growth for them. But make sure that you're giving yourself some credit, and then you're not too tough on yourself. But always keep an open mind to the things that are out there as options for you and for your children, and for your family, and be supportive to those families around you. Maybe you have friends that are a little bit nervous or afraid about the changes that are happening with schools, or they're nervous about sending their kids and unsure about what's going on there, or them wearing masks. There's a lot of things that are going on that parents have to make decisions on. And those things are difficult, right? Because some of these things, I know how I feel about some of these things, and I'm sure you guys feel the same way, is that some of these things can have lasting impressions on our children. And, those little minds are extremely precious. And so we need to do everything that we can to make the right choices to put them in the right situation. And so I just wanted to put that on everybody's radar this morning. And there is no right or wrong answer, right? Because we chose to do something a certain way doesn't mean that is the correct decision or the right decision for everybody else. I just wanted to share with you guys what we're doing and the thought process behind it, and kind of put it on your radar as to, there's a lot of changes going on. And when there's changes going on, our children look to us far more frequently for guidance, for stability, for that feeling of calm. And so, make sure that you're keeping that in your mind, that, as you're working through these things and everything is so different for us, your children will feel that. And so the best thing that you can do is spend some extra time, make sure that they feel comforted, make sure that they feel that, hey, we're all going to get through this. There's an upbeat feeling to what's going on in your house and your family. It's easy to create a level of stress and a feeling of overwhelmed in these types of environments where everything's changing for us. We pass that along to our children. So I hope that was helpful for you guys this morning. It's just a quick discussion and some perspective on a topic that a lot of people have talked to me about. And so I wanted to share it with you guys. And I hope that it gives you, something to think about. And I hope it gives you some encouragement of the difference that we can make for our children if we are focused the right way and we are thinking the right way about, what they're going through. Try to see life through their eyes and not just our own, because sometimes it's easy to get caught up in our own stuff and forget some of the changes that our children are going through too, right? Imagine this year from the perspective of a 5-year-old or an 8-year-old or a 3-year-old, and our 8-month-old, 9-month-old, he doesn't know much. He's not going to experience much change. But the other 3, they experienced a lot of change this year, and it's it's our job as parents to make that change feel comforting, right? To make sure that they always feel comfortable and that they always feel, okay, that everything's okay. So just a reminder for you guys. We all need that reminder at times. So I hope you guys have an awesome Wednesday, and I will see you again tomorrow morning, 7:30 a.m., same place, same time, right here on Morning Perspective. Love you guys.